We are here today.
I am. Sorry.
We will not be having outbursts like that in this courtroom. This is not the case with the Karen. Your Honor, I keep finding my lawn torn to shreds and fecal matter left in my yard. I own cats. We are here today in the case of Jelly versus in the case regarding the death of a university student. Prosecution, you may present your first opening statement.
Your Honor, I come from a school where we pride ourselves not only in the education of students, but also in their very safety. We use a variety of defenses against any kind of people trespassing and injuring or even harming our students. Everything from the most logical to the most magical. We know that our students consist of creature children that are not fully relative to this world. Thus, we think not that it was a hate crime, but a crime of vengeance. And we believe that the defense's client was behind it all. After today, we will show you how much proof shows that this disrespectful fork-titty bitch is guilty.
I understand that you are worked up, but we will watch our language in this courtroom.
Like, take a chill pill, please.
All right, defense, you may begin with your opening statement.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, my client is being accused for a crime that she didn't even commit. And as far as who literally knows everything about the laws and everything stated inside this courtroom, I know that my defendant, with the evidence laid out on the table, shows that my defendant is not guilty of such a crime.
Prosecution, would you like to begin with your first state of evidence?
Absolutely, Your Honor. To start off, we would like to make the court aware of history. Thus, a criminal record and a history of violence. You'll see from these two documents that Miss here is not the type to be prejudiced, but is the type to return whatever they deem as felt out punishment to those that they believe deserve it.
Objection, Your Honor.
What is your objection?
So my client has been completely cleaned for the past 2 years as far as her criminal record states, and the medication that she's been provided by her doctor, that there's no entire way that this being would have never ever committed a crime.
I fail to see
physical evidence of the weed product that is provided by her doctor that has been prescribed. And I even have her hospital record of all the prescriptions that her doctor has provided for her right here on this statement. May I please come up?
Sure enough. But I do fail to see where her prescriptions lie with the relevance at this point in time.
So with the provided documents that I have for my client's defense, again, her hospital bill and also her psychiatric evolution when it comes down to the therapy that she's been taking when it comes to the past, her past self. It shows right here on this document that she has been improving when it comes down to applying the politeness and kindness that she's supposed to give to this amazing society at the university.
Alrighty. So
this
then,
is also
Honor, it is hearsay on their clients' moods and actions towards others. The only thing we have are papers saying that they should be taking medication, but no proof that they actually are.
I will allow it. Do you have proof that your client has been consistent with the medication prescribed? This would be such as a DNA or blood urine analysis.
I actually do have physical. I wouldn't say it's somewhat physical evidence, but it pretty much is. I don't know why my client would decide to try and eat dollar bills, but when it comes down to the medication that is provided for my client, they have a tendency of the munchies, and therefore they don't know whether or not they're actually eating edibles as far as the medication they've given. This financial $1,000 that I have here in my hand has saliva DNA sample of my client supposedly trying to eat it, thinking that it was lettuce. And it comes down to, when it comes to the medicine that is prescribed to my client, they do have a tendency of being hungry for an amount of hours. But in that state, they are completely calm and absolutely chill when it comes down to wonderful provided by their doctor.
Your
If
Honor,
I
the
may, can I bring the
prosecution
sample
takes
to
that
you?
as proof that they are not in a reasonable state of mind when under the influence of their own.
I do not disagree. If your client cannot tell the difference between monetary paper and a plant, such as lettuce, there is a concern. But also, that does not provide me with any physical blood or urine analysis done by a doctor to show that this medication is still indeed in her system.
A search warrant upon the defense's client's activities. They were surveyed for a week after being arrested and let out on bail. And the thing that we turned up was that their medication may be used every once in a while recreationally. But for the most part, most of their medication gets sold to students, not only from my campus, but locally around.
Do you have the police statement from this?
We have the receipts from the alleged defense client's store.
They're
In
selling
there,
this
you will
online
see
now?
all the purchases that were done. As you can see, it was a piece of art sold with a special side gift. When reviewed, the only thing that was of monetary value was not the art piece, but the special side gift, which was Miss Drug.
Objection, Your Honor. This goes against my client's absolutely prescribed drugs when it comes down to what they are prescribed as far as keeping them in a healthy mental state.
Which your client was obviously in lack of doing.
But she was supervised by another intendant.
And what proof does the defense have of that?
I am the proof.
What do you mean with this?
So not only is my client the defendant, and I am her attorney, but I'm also a previous graduated student that is under the care of my defendant. And I have witnessed daily for the past 2 years that she has been on probation and she has done her part as far as when it comes down to staying at home and not having any activity in any crime or any attempted murder when it came down to the witness that she was allegedly accused for.
And explain this. The likeness in the death of a student related to one that she was involved in. It was never proven whether she was guilty of it or not, but she was involved with this one, and it holds the same evidence as of these murders now.
How am I supposed to prove her innocence? She was a part of this case. She was a part of this after all, but she wasn't the murderer. She's being framed for someone else. I have to be polite. I'll figure it out somehow. Wait, I've got it. Your Honor, I have here evidence of the photographic crime scene of all of what was transpired in what happened. Why am I not making sense? Come on, get it together.
You have a picture of the
Oh, boy,
crime
for
scene
Christ's sake.
itself, or you have a picture of the incident?
I have a picture here of the crime itself. And it shows all the DNA samples that were provided from the officers.
I see a picture of the
It
crime
shows in
scene.
each. But you also have to notice that this detective ended up pointing out who is identified when it comes down to the samples that they ended up creating when it comes down to this crime scene. Each DNA sample leads to each victim that was involved in the crime. But nowhere on this states that my client was involved.
Okay. Anything else you would like to add?
I have nothing else, Your Honor.
Alrighty.
If you are so adamant on sharing things of the crime scene, then I present the autopsy and forensic reports. In there, you will find that each murder happened by injection and trauma to the body. Using this very needle right here. And not only that, the concoction found within inside was a mixture whose base consists of the very drug you supposedly say that keeps your client docile.
Objection, Your Honor. The drug is being provided. It has nothing to do with the client's marijuana that is being stated here in this courtroom.
It's called a cocktail for a reason, defense.
Your objection will be dismissed for now.
Things aren't looking too good as of right now. Try this then. Your Honor, I have more evidence. May I please present the police report that was stated at the crime scene?
Alrighty. You may.
An officer for Eternal's statement. He ended up proclaiming that 3 students were involved in the crime, one being left dead, while 3 others, including their names, but besides my client's name, states here that my client was nowhere close to being involved in the incident. If anything, they were a bystander, a witness to everything that has happened when it comes down to the murder. Even though they were high, they were watching from the window.
Alrighty.
I also have a resignation letter that states from the doctor and the judge previous to her crime from 2 years ago, stating that I declare be on parole under the influence.
You do understand that a resignation letter is not a letter from the defendant's doctor, but would be more from the defendant themselves resigning from a role.
Your Honor,
I miscalculated.
I apologize. May we go for a bit of a recess?
We may. This court will be on recess. We will resume after. Alrighty. Court is now back in session. We will resume again with the prosecution to start us back off.
Sorry.
Alrighty, defense is back to you then.
Your Honor, when it comes down to the resignation letter, it seems that I've seen something that has been completely overlooked. According to this resignation letter, this is from a previous campus that the prosecutor has stated about the same exact murder that has happened here at the campus that is being represented in this courtroom.
Objection, Your Honor. How is this even related?
My questions as well. How is a resignation letter related to a whole different case relation to this one?
This resignation letter states that the prosecutor was actually resigned due to HR complaint of the murder.
So this is a resignation letter that you've gotten, or you've got a complaint against the plaintiff from a different case
Exactly, Your Honor.
with following of them
Objection,
resigning.
Your Honor. We still fail to see relevance.
If you have a resignation letter saying that you resigned from practicing law, then you would not legally be able to be here as a plaintiff and prosecutor.
It was not the law that I resigned from, ma'am. It was from teaching of the law that I resigned from.
I see. I fail to see relevance then between these if I was just resigning from a teaching role.
Prosecution still fails to see the connection.
Your Honor, I have one last piece of evidence.
Alrighty.
According to FBI Internet resources, based upon our prosecutor, it currently shows that due to their recent internet activity, that they were on the lookout for suspicious weapons to utilize as far as framing my client. Not only that, but making false DNA or fingerprints based upon the evidence given, and the drug usage as well.
Objection, Your Honor. Still, what is the relevance?
The relevant is that you tried to frame my client.
How dare you?
I see. This is a very serious
I am
accusation.
here to protect my students.
I have no further evidence, Your Honor.
Alrighty. Prosecution.
Aside from this blatant miscarriage of a case, the prosecution has nothing else to present other than the evidence, the core crucial evidence that we have put down.
I would like to call Zhao to the stand.
Zhao, would you like to come up to the stand?
Do you promise to be honest and to be nothing but honest, so help you?
Yes.
Lady Zhao, you have been working on cybersecurity for quite some time, is that correct?
Indeed.
And you have been noticing from the prosecutor's computer that they have been trying to plan on framing a suspicious witness. Is that right?
Objection, Your Honor. The use of the word framing is hearsay.
Sustained. Please avoid from hearsay. Let's stick to the facts.
Let me rephrase the question then. Due to the internet history, you have seen proof and state that the prosecutor has gone through specific type of history in order to carry out such a crime.
Yes.
And the financial funds that have been approved on the internet history that you have seen across the cybersecurity that you have observed is all stated positive, correct?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
If that is all, I will go ahead and leave you to your closing statements. And I will remind the jury at this point that your job is to vote whether you are finding Miss guilty of first-degree murder and premeditation. If you believe, without a shadow of a doubt, that she is guilty, then I want you to bring forth a verdict. If you do find that you have doubts, then you cannot bring forth that charge. It is either a yes or no. Prosecution, would you like to start your closing statements?
Yes, ma'am. As the jury and Your Honor have witnessed, the defense is flimsy at best. And to try to turn the court into a new direction without true evidence is nothing more than a misguided attempt at one more Hail Mary to save their client from being judged correctly. From what has been shown, we can say that Miss, if not guilty, is responsible for something going on with the students at the school. I have my statement.
Defense, your closing statements.
People of the jury, I stand before you armed with truth. For 2 years, this innocent defendant has done everything that she can to try and prevent herself from destroying the laws of this great nation. Yes, she has a criminal history in her past. But for the past 2 years straight, she has been on her probation the proper way that our court system and the laws of this great nation have been applied. She is completely innocent of such a crime. The evidence shows, including her doctor notes and all that has been stated inside, have been completely shown as honest evidence. Yes, she does have a tendency of being high, but who hasn't? That doesn't mean that she deserves to be accused of something that she hasn't done, especially if the evidence was false. So it's up to you. That is my conclusion, Your Honor.
Alrighty.
That wig
With
is
that, jurors, we now turn to you. We will give you a couple minutes to talk to each other so you guys can deliberate. And then once you reach a unanimous vote, which you have 5 minutes, talk amongst yourselves, come back with a unanimous vote, whether Ms. Penn is guilty of first-degree murder, premeditated, meaning that it was pre-planned, or if you have doubts, then you must let her walk free.